Hello, and thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be days, but we are not confused. We are going to do a What's Haunting Your House reading for the sign of Sagittarius. The purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that might be needing a little bit of attention on your part. Something that you might be overlooking either from a space of discomfort or just not wanting to deal with it because you don't have the time or the energy to do so. So, looking at your cards, with the cards that I made ahead of time, Sagittarius, it appears that you are experiencing moaning in your attic. And the numbers associated with this are 4 and 6, okay? So the moaning sound is usually something that we hear when someone is expressing, either sometimes extreme displeasure or a sense of pain or suffering, or in some cases it could be pleasure as well. And this is taking place in your attic. And so the attic for me is like your higher mind. So it's like where your thoughts are, where you get your ideas or bursts of insights, maybe even your downloads that you pick up. And there's this sense, the way that I'm picking this up is a sense of discomfort. There's something that you are kind of suffering silently about that's causing you a lot of displeasure. And it's like you're receiving in your mind, you know that it's there, but you're having to kind of act like it's not. You're having to ignore this thought. It's like this recurring thought that is causing you some sort of suffering. All right. It could be a worry. It could be some sense of deep sadness that's causing worry. All right. So I feel like because this is in your haunting reading, it's something that you ignore and you kind of push through in the day. But there's something that's making you feel very, very discontent to a point of feeling as if you're just suffering. You're mentally in your mind thinking of something, and it's causing you to feel as if you are not comfortable, and you're needing to kind of express that with your voice. Okay? So let's take a look at the tarot to clarify these cards. All right. So the card that I received is the Ace of Cups. All right. So I feel like this is speaking to a sense of wanting to receive some type of emotional fulfillment spiritually. All right. We said that there was like downloads, that this is taking place in the space where you feel like you're receiving information and comfort from God. So I'm almost picking up almost like Holy Spirit for me when I see this card. I feel like you feel disconnected from that. You don't feel like you're connected to source. And because of that, when you experience things in your day-to-day life, it makes you feel as if you're not getting any comfort. There's no relief. There's no reprieve. It's hard to see the bright side of things. It's hard to feel comforted in your day-to-day life because it just feels very bleak. I'm also feeling like you might feel like you have to give out a lot, or you share a lot, but you don't receive a lot back. And you're not feeling comforted in your environment either. You're not feeling as if you have people that can be there for you emotionally. And you don't feel like there's anything for you to connect with outside of yourself either. Like a higher source or spirit. Okay. I feel like with the 4 and 6, there could have also been some sort of ending that took place, because 4 and 6 is 10. And so, perhaps, it could have been an end to a support group or circle of friends or family that you kind of walked away from. And so you feel as if you don't have support around you, and you feel kind of left out. And there's this sense of yearning and longing to feel emotionally fulfilled through the support and connection to others. Okay. Picking up like isolation. All right. So let's take a look at the Divine Feather cards to get a message for you. All right. So we have White Owl. And, I also got this for the Pisces reading. And it says, the wisdom and messages of the divine are within you. So you might want to check out that reading if you get a chance. So with you feeling disconnected from the divine and disconnected from source, this is saying that even though you feel as if you are alone, you actually are not. And that, Spirit is always there with you. No matter what falls apart or what ends or what you don't have around you, you always have Spirit there with you to provide you with the support and encouragement that you need if you tune into that. And if it's something where maybe that's new for you, or if you've recently felt like you've become separated from that, this is a card that is inviting you to try to reconnect with that, because it is there for you. It's like a gift from Source for you, and it really is your birthright to have that connection. So I want to read the message for that card. It says, the white owl awakens a keener sense of listening, seeing, sensing, and knowing. This divine messenger encourages you to follow your intuition and allow those senses to expand as you do so. Our ability to connect to the divine messengers is a skill that needs to be used for the highest good. Now is the time to pay attention to the messages that you are receiving, whether through synchronicity, repetitive thought, or direct revelation. Follow the guidance that asks only for the best and highest good for all. Okay. So this is saying that it might be time to look at your circumstances a little differently. Try to look deeper into yourself, into your situation, and try to see the beauty and the divine that's there. Even though it might be hard, even though it's kind of imperceptible at first, this is inviting you to explore and get to know yourself and get closer to the divine, all right, in your life. All right, so let's take a look at the Mystical Shaman Oracle and get another card for this. All right, and we just want to get one, so I'm going to go. All right, I have completion. Okay. So I feel like I got this card also for the Cancer reading. And the number associated with this is the number 9. Okay, 9 for completion. All things have a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is the nature of life, the seed, the flower, and the fruit, and of all human relationships. Completion suggests the fullness of the moment and the need to transform an old form into a new one. You have finished a cycle, and there is no more growth or benefit from hanging on to the old. In regard to relationships, it is time to honor what has been and find a new form for the future. In your ventures, it is time to reap your harvest. Completion is a time for celebration. It is the end of summer when the fruit is ripe. Clinging to the old form will bring only decay. When fruit is left too long on the vine, it rots. You know that it is time to move on, yet are reluctant. Do not be afraid of hurting anyone's feelings. Remember that you are responsible for your actions, not the actions of others. Mourn what is lost so that you can move on. Do not be sad. Be like the sun at midday who shines brightly, neither longing for sunrise nor dreading the dusk. So we talked about the number 10 being an ending possibly to a cycle. So maybe you walked away from a job or a relationship or family or friends, or you just came out of a huge ending in your life, and it has you in a space of feeling as if no one is there for you. You don't have support, even though you've been support for so many other people. And in your darkest hour, when you need someone and something, there is nobody there to care or to reach out for you. And you even feel disconnected from Source or God or anything. And that feeling is very understandable because we experience God and Source not only through ourselves, but through the relationships that we have with others, because they are vessels for that energy. And so when we feel disconnected from others, it can make us feel as if we are also disconnected from God or Source or that higher energy. However, with the cards that you received, it is saying that the wisdom and messages of the divine are within you, which means that you have not been abandoned and left alone by Spirit or God, that it is all there. And you may have forgotten how to listen for it, or you may have never had the opportunity to learn how to listen to it and to hear it and to follow that guidance. That too is very understandable because we live in a world where we are conditioned from birth to not know how. It's because if you do, it gives you too much power in yourself to be able to be in the fullness of who you are and content beyond what is given to you or what validation you receive. And you can't control people like that. And so this is saying that you have that voice inside you, and that as you lean on it more and more, you will begin to see how supported you really are of the universe. And as I said before, this is your birthright. And in that message, it was saying to focus on being in the moment now and understand that when things end and they don't go on, that sometimes that is the universe doing you a favor to push you into a space that you did not know existed and that you would not have gone into otherwise. As much as we may hold on to it, as much as that might be our whole world and our entire viewpoint of what is important in our lives, what is valuable in our lives, there is something that is going to bring you the emotional fulfillment that you are looking for. And more so, it's not going to serve as an obstruction to your connection to the divine. The other thing is that things that block us from being in connection to Spirit tend, when we are so lucky to be in such a position, to get removed from our lives so that we can truly live a life of hope and joy and peace and contentment all the way through. Because I feel as if you may not have even been experiencing that in what you were before. So this is a difficult time for you, but it is also a beautiful time because you are becoming the person that you were meant to be, the person that is most in alignment with Source and Spirit, which is really you. It's the Spirit within you and how you were to show up on this planet and the person you wanted to be that maybe you felt like you couldn't be, around the people that you wanted to be around that you felt like maybe you couldn't be, in the environment that you wanted to be around that maybe you felt like you couldn't be because you felt disconnected from Source, which is really life-giving Spirit. It's your life. All right, I feel like this is happening to breathe life back into you. Because there's so many people on this planet that are walking around that are not alive because they are not connected to source. That is the thing that gives us life. That is the thing that animates us and gives us hope and purpose. And you have been given a beautiful opportunity to have life breathed into you so that you can be in the fullness of who you've always been, but that you may have forgotten that you are. All right, so let's take a look at the Peace Oracle for you. Pardon me while I shuffle. All right, we have nature. Okay, and I think that's awesome because when I think of spirit, for me personally, and whether it's the Holy Spirit, source energy, I think of the life-giving spirit. Some people also think of it as Mother Nature or Gaia. And this is the energy that allows us to not just be going day to day and just going through the motions and kind of being here, but not really being here, but being in the fullness of that, shining brightly, showing up every day, regardless of what's happening in our surroundings or how we're experiencing things, showing up and being in our power because we are here. We are existing. We are allowing that light to shine through in all of our beauty, in all of our glory, in all of our failures, in all of our lack. All of that is a beautiful symphony of music, and it's a beautiful portrait of the totality of how our soul is expressing. And I think this is, again, another sign of this wonderful opportunity that you have been given that may not feel like that, but to connect with that energy that many people may never get the chance to for a number of reasons. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's because they do have people around them and they do seem to have everything. And so they're never confronted with that moan in the attic that's telling them that you're not happy, you're not at peace, there's something missing, there's something more. When you have people shoving in your face, this is right, this is what you need, this is what's important. And they don't get a chance to experience what it's like to not have that, so that all that there is to connect back to source, and then to find out that that's all that they really wanted in the first place, and they're more content and more fulfilled. And not only that, but that this life-giving energy is moving constantly, and it's building and creating. And so it will begin to take form in your life and start to put things together that will put you in the spaces that you want to be in. It's a beautiful thing. You can see this in nature when you look at the forms that insects use when they're building nests or hives, or just there's a geometry to it. And it's the same thing with your life that you have been out of alignment with, but now you have a chance to start from scratch and see that unfold and see the beauty that was meant for your life, okay? So it's actually a wonderful thing. So nature, it says, I took a walk in the woods and came out taller than the trees. Henry David Thoreau. Pebble, mountain, dewdrop, ocean, breeze, tempest. Shifting, changing, renewing, growing, remembering, healing, letting go. A stirring melody calls from deep in the earth. Feel the undulating harmonies, the rippling airs, the whisper of falling leaves, the pulse of 1 billion heartbeats. Nature is a living song. Hear it and sing along. A problem will resolve itself if left to run its natural course. Step away and take a break. Rest and recuperate in nature. Spend time away from technology. My skin, breath, ears, and eyes absorb the world around me. The trees, the ocean, the sunshine, and the bird song are part of me. The moon, the rain, the earth, every living creature shares space with me. We are inseparable. I breathe in nature. Nature breathes in me. So that is a lot. I feel like this needing to take a break away from technology is very important as well, because we are in spaces where people are, their entire lives are becoming virtual. We are disconnected from others. We are only able to live through technology and with virtual reality, which at some level can be helpful when it's in balance. Right now, it's certainly not in balance, and a lot of people are struggling with that and being told to just expect that that's okay and to pretend like that's okay. And the sad thing is, many people have been struggling with that before, having to pretend like everything is okay, being stressed out, living a life that's not in alignment with source, that's not in alignment with nature, that is actually anti-life. People feel as if they're not able to breathe because they were so constricted. And now literally people are being forced to only interact through technology and can't feel like they can breathe. Okay. So I feel like this is a message that's saying that if before you felt disconnected and this has gotten you into a space where you realize how disconnected you have become, that this is a blessing in disguise, because it's allowing you to really tap into that thing that's going to allow you to feel the fulfillment and connection like you've never felt before, and allow yourself to get in alignment with the earth, Mother Nature, Gaia, Spirit, Holy Spirit, Shekinah, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your soul, spirit, all of that, because it will breathe life into you and give you the chance to allow yourself to run the natural course, the original course that you wanted to take on when you incarnated on this planet. And that is your birthright. Okay. So Sagittarius, that is what I have for your reading about what is haunting your house. I hope that this was helpful and that it allowed you to be able to get some insight into, something that you can kind of integrate and help you move into a more joyous, prosperous, and peaceful future. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be days, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye.